Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Shulchan Aruch Yomi. We have the special privilege of learning Siman Yud Gimel and Orach Chaim, number 13. We'll be discussing wearing your tzitzis on Shabbos. Are you allowed to go out to Rosh Hashanah? Now we have Eruv in most places. Let's say you don't have an Eruv. Are you allowed? Um, are you allowed to go out to Rosh Hashanah with your tzitzis on Shabbos? What about if your tzitzis break? One of the strings break, and you're no longer performing, like we learned yesterday, it breaks to the point that you can't tie it anymore, two of the strings. Now you're going out to Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos or to a Carmelist on Shabbos, which is Hotzad Rabbanon. Should you be worried about, do you have to take your tzitzis off because you'd be carrying your tzitzis? This we'll be investigating right now. Sif Aleph, Arba Tzitzios Ma'ak Vintedzeh. All four tzitzis are integral. You have to have, when you have a beged that has four corners, you have to have tzitzis on all four corners. If you only have three of the corners with tzitzis, it's not considered tzitzis. If you go to Sharab, Mashab is chayav chatas. You'd be chayav chatas if you go to Sharabim. Why would you be chayav chatas? Because you're carrying. Now, even though the beged is something you'd normally wear, and you're allowed to wear begodim, you're allowed to wear clothes out to Sharabim. It's not called a muscle. It's not called carrying something unnecessarily. Having tzitzis on your beged is something extraneous. If you're doing it to be yotze the mitzvah, so there's a reason it's on. It's part of your beged. If you're not being yotze the mitzvah with it, so then it's considered a masoi, and it's not batel to the beged because it's not subsidiary to the beged because it's considered chashuv. Tzitzis are considered chashuv. They're a mitzvah. They're not batel. So that is basically you have to make sure that you have tzitzis kehilchas on all four corners of your beged. You see, my friend Shmuel is making sure I gave it right. He's my producer. He's making sure everything goes smoothly. Beis like we said, if there is proper tzitzis, you're allowed to go out. Even you see people on the Shabbos, they go out with their big talis. They walk to shul in their big talis, no problem. Even though nowadays we have no tchelas. Now this is interesting, because the Shulchan Aruch paskin in Siman Tet that you can no longer wear a beged of semer and strings of pishtan, or vice versa, which normally would be Yisra Kilayim, would be mutter to Mekayim mitzvah of tzitzis, because now that we don't have tchelis, you're not being Mekayim the mitzvah kehilchasa, because you really need tchelis to be Mekayim mitzvah b'shlemusa in its entirety. So you'd be over. It wouldn't be essay docha losa say. It wouldn't be the full mitzvah being docha losa say. Here, we question that in the Ian part over there, but here we're basically saying that it is considered tzitzis, even though you have no tchelis, and it wouldn't obviously, based on Siman Tet, it wouldn't be a mitzvah b'shlei Musa. It's still called doing the mitzvah in a certain respect. We're going to see more in Ian Shulchan Aruch what it means doing the mitzvah. Since you're considered doing the mitzvah, you can go out on Shabbos even though you have no tchelis. The Ramah says, you can't wear it over your shoulder. Some people, before they put it on, they put it over their shoulder, they check their tzitzis, and then they start wrapping around their head. You can't go out like that, because that's not called wearing it. If you check your tzitzis in the morning like you're supposed to do, so then you don't have to check the talis before you go out to Sharabim or to the Carmelist, because we are so make that the tzitzis are not missing. You check them in the morning. If you didn't check it in the morning, there is reason to say you should check it before you go out to make sure you're not going to be over a violation of Hotzad Rabbanan if it's a Carmelist, or Hotzad Raisa if it's Sharabim. Siv Gimel, Im no de lo b'Shabbos shum Carmelist shetala shalav pasal. Let's say he goes out with it, and he's a Carmelist, which is only a Hotzad Rabbanan, and he finds out the tzitzis are pasal, or he only has tzitzis on three of the corners. Lo Yisrael Ma'alav, you don't have to take it off. Ha'achigil the base of the gadol covered abriya. It's not only do you not have to take it off. Shulchan Aruch says Lo Yisrael gadol covered abriya shadocha lo seish Torah. The Gemara says in numerous places, including Shabbos and Beis. Covered abrios, right? Hashem had compassion on human dignity outweighs an Isser in the Torah. Now it's clear from the Gemara only an Isser D'Rabbanan. That's where the Shulchan Aruch says if you're in a Carmelist, you're only violating Isser D'Rabbanan of carrying. If you'd be in a Sharabim, the Mishnah Berurah makes clear, you'd have to take it off, because even though Ein Eitzav Ein Tfuna Das Neged Hashem. The Gemara says in Brachos on Daf Yud Tet. If you're wearing kilayim in the shuk, you have to take it off. There's no eitzah. You're doing an issue that rice. We don't worry about covered abrios. But if it's only an issue rabbanon, like in a carmelist, then you would have to take it off. Hagad or Moses afilu kalas katan shtei begadav tachas begadav insaraf liv showed. Even you're wearing a talis katan underneath your shirt, and you realize it has no tzitzis, you don't have to take it off. You can say, what's the human dignity involved there? Because it's a little embarrassing to take off your tzitzis from underneath your shirt. Most people don't undress in public. Let's say even you're sitting down in the base medrash, sitting down in the shul, sitting down in your house, and it's going to be embarrassing for you to take it off or to have the appearance that you're not wearing tzitzis. It's not only that, you could even put it on, right? If normally people wear tzitzis and they wear the tzitzis out of their shirt, so it's very recognizable you're wearing tzitzis or not. And you see your tzitzis are apostle, you can even put it on, not make the bracha. Ramah says don't make the bracha because there's no mitzvah of tzitzis, but you'd be allowed to wear, to neglect the mitzvah of tzitzis. Tzitzis, the mitzvah is having a four corner. You don't have four corners. You don't have the mitzvah, but it's only a rabbanon. So therefore, covered abrios is docha this. This is very important. It's only on Shabbos these halachas apply. During the weekday, if you have a four-cornered garment and you don't have tzitzis on it in the right way to mekayem the mitzvah, it's not just neglecting to do a mitzvah's essay, which we've said that if you neglect to do a mitzvah's essay, if an onus happened, it's not your fault. You're not responsible at all if you can't do a mitzvah's essay. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. But here, it's very important. The Mishnah Berurah says it clearly. He explaining this Ramah that he says. Fisher Shas Leiser Rak is the Rabbanon. Ala b'chol shu over al Isra Torah b'chol shah the kuma asay b'ositzis v'Isra Torah afilu Rak Isra the Sheva Altas Kezer Shomoneas Atzma Mitzvah Einid Cham Mikra Brios. He says basically, I think he's saying it has the dint, it has the force of an Isra essay, which means just like it says a Kohen Gadol can't marry a woman who's a Ba'ula. That has not just a mitzvah's essay to marry a psula, but if he marries a ba'ula, he's violating a mitzvah's essay to the point that you're responsible, even if an onus happens, it's out of your control and you do it, it's not your fault. You're still responsible because you did an aveira. At the end of the day, there's a pagam, there's a blemish on your soul that you did an isser. That's an isser essay. So Shabbos, why is Shabbos different? So, and they bring the mafarshim, the Dirshu brings from the Pri Megadim that on Shabbos you're not really mechuyev in mitzvah tzitzis because if you're left without tzitzis, you can't tie it. You can't make tzitzis on Shabbos. In order to be yotzei mitzvah tzitzis, you have to tie a knot. Kesher elyon doraisa. If you can't tie the knot because it's a permanent knot, in order for it to be yotzei mitzvah tzitzis, you can't do it. So with the rabbanon, you're not chayiv in tzitzis or oker the mitzvah because in the face you can't do a malacha on Shabbos. During the week you don't have that problem. So therefore, on Shabbos they oker this isser essay. During the week they weren't. So besides the mitzvah of doing tzitzis, you also have an isra essay of not wearing tzitzis, not putting on tzitzis on a four-cornered garment. That would be an isra del raisa, and therefore gadol kar abrios, human dignity only is docha a derabana, but it's not docha a del raisa, and that would be an isra del raisa, midin essay or neglecting an essay, and you would have to take them off. If they're outside or even on the inside, you'd have to, even on the inside and even on the outside, even when you're wearing them on the outside, a talis gadol, or you're wearing the outside your clothes like the Hasidim, you have to take it off even in public because you'll be violating the Isra essay. It's like wearing kilayim in public, you'll be violating Isra d'oraisa. Ein eitzav, ein tuna, ein das neged Hashem. The Gemara says in Brachos and Daf Yud Tet. Check it up there. We'll be discussing in Ian Shulchan Aruch more about the difference between the mitzvah essay, the purely positive commandment to wear tzitzis, and also now this new thing being introduced of an Isra essay, and how it relates to resolving Shulchan Aruch and Siman Tet, number 9, where we talked about that Tcheles is considered to be very important, that you would not be able to wear kilayim in your tzitzis if you don't have Tcheles. And here we seem to be saying in this halacha, You can go out through Sharabim on Shabbos with tzitzis, who just love one, even though you don't have tchelas, even though seemingly it's not the mitzvah, Kishlei Musa, you'll be allowed to go out. How could that be? How could you resolve that? We're going to resolve it. You're going to love it. Stay tuned for Shulchan Aruch coming up right now.